Hey,
Dude,
what is up?
life is good, man. How are you?
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you, man. You look great.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm a little older.
Puppy hair is amazing.
Got some gray. You know, we're older now.
I get it, man. Like it's real. It's going away. It's getting gray.
I know. It's all happening, man.
It's all happened.
Well, it's good to see you. So, number one, I want to catch up. It's kind of fun to do an Instagram Live. I don't know how many of my followers know you, so wanted to expose them to you, and especially excited about your new book.
Thank you.
I just ordered 10 copies, and I'm waiting for them to get here, so I don't have them yet. But why don't you tell people real quick about the book? Where can they get it? What's it called?
Yep. The new book is called Crushing It. And it's a follow-up to the book that kind of put me on the map. You know, what's really fun for me, Ryan, is you hold such an incredibly, deeply, deeply important place in my heart. And I bring it up in interviews lately as I'm getting a little reminiscent to those 2007, 2009 days. You know, FOA in Florida was absolutely, I did one other speaking engagement before, but that was the first time I spoke to the audience that became Web 2.0. Yes. I genuinely believe it put me on the map.
Why don't you talk about that? Because your message of patience and a decades-long perspective has really struck a chord with me. Yeah. And because you and I literally had that moment together, can you walk everybody back to that moment when you and I met in a hallway at a conference and nobody knew you, and then now you're here?
Yep. So 2006, 2007, in February 2008, you threw a conference, Future of Web Apps, in London. I'd never been to London, but 3 or 4 months earlier, I realized I wanted to go to my first tech conference. And I didn't want to wait to South by that year, which was in March. And so literally, whether it was a TechCrunch ad or me and Eric Kastner Googling, I went to FOA 2008 in London.
Yeah.
At that point, Wine Library TV was about almost 2 years old. But still, was that 2000? Was FOA London 2007 potentially?
It was 2007.
Yeah, so it's 2007. The vlog's not a year old. I launched WineLibrary.com in 1996. You know what's interesting? I've been in the decade patience, Ryan, game of being kind of a known business personality and other things, an investor and whatever. But even at that point, I'd already been a decade into building my dad's liquor store, right? So when I came to FOA, I was a seasoned businessman. Mm-hmm. I had a big business, but now I was doing YouTube, Twitter. I was reading TechCrunch. I was blown away to see Owen Malik and Michael Arrington and Kevin Rose. They had become the poster child, and Tara Hunt and Chris Messina. I was in the audience. A couple people recognized me. I thought it was cool. But I was going up to Kevin Rose after his keynote and be like, dude, I was on Dig once, doing, that's why I always, every day that people are like, hey, you once liked my tweet. Somebody said that today. I'm like, I get it. I'm like, totally. I think that's stupid. I'm like, I get it, man.
I've been there.
I've been there. And by the way, I still continue to be there. When a Jets player who's not even a known player, when Hennessy, our long snapper, literally the guy that bends over and snaps the ball, who nobody gives a shit about, Tom Hennessy followed me on Twitter a month ago. I was or 4 months ago, I was like, yes, everybody always cares about something. So I get it. Nonetheless, to answer your question, FOA, February 2007, I went. It was incredibly inspiring for me. I immediately, an hour in, was like, this is my next universe. I grew up in the wine world. I'm going to grow up in this world for the next decade. I went to a small session with Tara Hunt and Chris Messina. They were a couple at the time. They were thought leaders. And, I'm always me. So when it got to Q&A, I don't think I asked a question. I always make fun of people when they, in Q&A at my talks, when they ask a question, but they're really making a statement. And I'm like, so what's the question? I'm such a hypocrite because that's what I did. I made a statement, not asked a question, but it made everybody there know, okay, this guy's not, and they clearly understood that I had something. And I think later that day at drinks or whatever came up to you and we're like, you need to put this guy.
Yeah, I remember I was in the hallway and Tara walked up to me, and you were with her, and I'd never seen you. And she's like, you got to meet this guy. I'm like, okay, who are you? Because at the point, the power dynamics were opposite. You know, I had people come in to speak to me, and I was like, okay, another guy. And you said, yeah, I want to speak. I think I can bring some fire to your stage. And it was like, okay, let's try it. And you spoke for free back then. And gosh, I mean, you must have spoken for us, I don't know, like 10 times or something. And then eventually, I remember asking you one more time, you're like, you got to pay me, dude. And I was like, okay, how much? You're like, $10,000, man. And I was like, fuck, forget that. At the time. I was like, no. So.
I get it. It's such an important run for me. And for everybody who's watching, you know, obviously, Ryan and I don't get to hang out often. We're both very busy. And so we're doing a little reminiscing and selfish kind of like recall that's super fun for us. It was an incredible era, those 2, 3, 4 years. You built an incredible conference business. You're building an incredible business now. But, you know, I think the important part is, Ryan, what you got to see now, and for some of the audience that's watching now that does know who I am, and definitely for the people on my vlog who are listening to this right now, you know, I'm the same exact fucking dude I was then, which I think has really won me a lot of favors. B, I was willing to work. I was flying to Las Vegas when you wanted me.
Non-stop, you worked. I mean, I found this old video of in Miami, because I had forgotten you spoke in Miami, and you were doing some nobody interview on some nobody's YouTube channel, and you were working. And I just remember thinking, to be honest, it's an amazing example, because I didn't put in the time for the last 7 years, and you just kept going. And I think it's an amazing example, and I want everyone to watch that's watching that knows me but doesn't know Gary. Gary lives what he preaches, which is you have to work really hard for the long haul.
And I think, look, there's an article on Medium right now that's titled Gary Vee Wants to Kill You. This is really what it's titled. And the argument is, like, I talk too much about 7 p.m. to 2 in the morning, and the guy's saying, look, I did this for a while, and it made me sick. And I think, you know, look, I think that what makes me passionate is not work for the sake of work. It's a couple things. Number one, if you're upset or not happy or complaining, work is a tangible way to get out of it, right? If you're in debt and you hate your job, or what about you? You were in a really tough business, the conference business. You loved it when I met you. At some point, that's a grind. And, you know, by the way, we've never talked about this. You're not in it. And I know you well enough to mean it hit a place where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And before you get to the place of I don't want to do this anymore, when it's successful, you were at the point of, like, whether it was a year or two where it was kind of a grind, right? Like, it's, you know, it's kind of tough. And so you made a change. You did it, you know, you did something. And so, like, to me, the reason it's been easy for me to put in a lot of work is because I love what I'm doing, right? Not more than my family, not more than my health. I've become way more healthier. Go look at my old videos.
Yeah, you look a lot better.
I don't know if anybody's been paying attention at home or people that write these articles, but there's no content of my family because we've decided to be private. And thus, you know, on Saturday and Sunday, I don't know if anybody's checked, but my personal activity is not very high. I don't know if people have checked in late August and December and Thanksgiving, like on a lot of other random times. I've done a good job in feeling omnipresent through a team, but I'm checked out a lot and you're not seeing me. And so, look, my advice is predicated on people who are unhappy. I want people to be happy. And I think self-awareness and not complaining and doing something about it are at the forefront. I'm empathetic that I've been branded crush. I mean, the book's called Crushing It. It's very alpha. It's like, dude, I get it. I love hustle. I get it. But I think that people haven't dug under the hood. And I also think, Ryan, you know, what I'm proud of is not only have I worked hard or been ambitious, you're one of the 500 people that know how I've done that. Me, as a good guy, doing it the right way, trying to do the right thing by you. Like the how I'm doing it, I think matters as much as well.
100%. And it ends up coming out. I mean, it becomes apparent. And I think the thing that people are missing about the working 20-hour day thing is it's not about that. You have consistently said you just have to be disciplined not to give up. I mean, yes, work hard, but the point is don't work hard and then quit. Like, work hard for a decade.
And or let me add clarity. Be self-aware, because self-awareness and perseverance and delusion are very, perseverance and delusion. Look, Ryan, you here's a statement for everybody. This is your channel. They're going to know this. Ryan, you're going to be successful in pretty much anything you do because you have the tools to be successful. You understand the patterns. You'll be successful. If you texted me tomorrow and be like, dude, sold the house, the Treehouse, starting a lemonade business, direct to consumer and Amazon. I'm like, that's going to be a successful lemonade business.
Go.
But that's the same way that LeBron would be successful if he wanted to be a football player. Now, he might not be NFL, but he's just a fucking beast athlete. Yeah. I think there's a lot of people right now that want to be an entrepreneur because it's like a rock status stuff right now, but they can't. And so for me, self-awareness, I don't want people to just not give up because guess what? There's a lot of people that have been trying to build a business for 11 years and it's never going to happen, but they could be an amazing number 3. They should be you and I number 3. So self-awareness, delusion, complaining's my biggest one. Literally 98% of my conversation is predicated on if you're unhappy, the strategy that does not work is going to other people's social media and trolling them because you're unhappy with yourself, or going to the bar at 4:30 and drinking 3 Bud Lights and complaining to the bartender. That's not the strategy. No.
And I was just on an interview with this guy named Travis Mills who had all his arms and legs blown off in Afghanistan.
By the way, the photo you put up on your Instagram about the Netflix, I don't know if that's his creative or yours. It's gorgeous. It's a nice piece of content.
Thanks. I mean, he is a beast and he's amazing. Literally, he couldn't type, he couldn't walk, and yet he's like, I'm just going to keep going because his why was his family. He's like, I got to keep going.
Ryan, and Lori Aaron and Dawn Jane right now, I'm going to look at all the names, and Zab and Virtual and Evangelist and Ugly Bean Brain, all of you and everybody watching and all the fucking hundreds of thousands of you on my blog watching. Here's the punchline. There's no alternative. Here's my biggest, Ryan, you know this. You've seen, we've run the similar circles. We've seen people get sick. We've seen people get bankrupt. We've seen people go rich. We've seen people do heinous things like sexual harassment. We've seen things, you and I, right?
Yeah.
Here's the biggest thing that you and I know that. This is just the truth. Nobody cares. Of course you and I care. We're if something bad happened to you, I'm going to DM you, right?
Right. Appreciate it.
But at the biggest macro, nobody cares.
I know.
Nobody
no one cares.
Nobody. What was the wonderful gentleman's name you said one more time?
Travis Mills.
At the most macro, 99.99999% of the world didn't care that his limbs got blown off.
I know. It's crazy.
There's 14 people that actually care. There's another 140 that care like a friend. There's another 1,400 that care as an acquaintance. They have empathy. They care. They're like, oh, that's too bad. But literally, when you hear one of your high school friends died and you haven't been in touch 15 years and you were great friends with them, you're like, oh, that's terrible. Oh, that feels weird. I'm that age. But I don't know, 5 minutes later, you're on with your life.
Yep. And no one cares.
This is by the way, this is not a negative. This is a positive. Look at life. Outside of 20 people, and you can all bullshit, but it's the truth. You're not going to spend the next 48 hours of your life stopping it because something bad happened to somebody. There's about 20 people, 50, 13, 9, 6, 3, 2, fine. But once you honestly, bro, I think I'm going to go down in history. If I can stay healthy, I really think I'm Oprah, Richard Branson. I think, first of all, I think I'm unique because I think I will accomplish 2 things. I think I will amass the wealth to be looked up to, and I think I'll be a good enough guy to be looked up to. I think I won't make the most money, but I know that there's nobody like me that's trying to make all 1,500 people that are watching this right now successful more out of purely one move. I want them to come to my funeral, right? I want to give a lot. So anyway, with all that, I also know that I mean shit, that nobody gives a fuck. That if I die tomorrow in Miami, my latest post on Instagram will get a shitload of people that show up and be like, what the fuck? The world's lost, RIP. There'll be incredible things up. But here's what I also know. In 3 weeks, everybody will be on with their lives. And the second you go there and realize nobody gives a fuck, you can flip.
Yep.
Because I assume people are looking for compassion or justification from somebody else of why they didn't make it or why they're not happy. I just don't want that for people because that's not really how life is playing out.
Right. And it feels like if you pair that with the reality that nobody really knows what they're doing or knew what they were doing when they started, it just it unlocks all your potential because you say, oh, well, I don't have to know everything and I'm going to die anyway. And who cares? Correct. So let's just go.
And to me, then it gets to the next part, which is, so now what, right? Like, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just do. Let's really focus. Let's take advantage. Where are you right now?
In Portland, Oregon, baby.
And I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we're live, and 1,582 people are watching us, and a lot of people are leaving lovely comments right now. And I'm recording my vlog, which is a reality TV show that in 4 days, 3 days, everybody's going to watch. And there's a clip from this that I'm going to put on my. We are living through unprecedented opportunity.
It's insane.
And so I think there's a huge opportunity. Right now, we are demonizing technology, right? Facebook is a threat to our democracy. Kids are addicted to phones. We are demonizing technology. And so for me, I'm like, wait a minute, this is good right now because this is only going to get more important and bigger.
Right.
And everybody's decided to demonize this, which means some people won't invest their time and energy into this, which is going to stop the natural growth of some of these things, which excites the shit out of me because it's more land grab. And so for the 1,484 people that are watching this right now, Ryan, go out and do. Stop worrying about everybody else. Don't look for reaffirmation. Don't look for pity. Like, put all your fucking excuses on the table. Go, go, go. Be patient.
Yep.
And so what crushing it is to wrap this up, because I got to bounce, and I love you. And I will do this again with you, by the way. This is fun.
Love you, man.
I've been thinking about doing a lot more. I've actually been thinking about doing, I have so many fancy, cool people that I can't believe are looking on Instagram, so I want to do more of these Instagram interviews. But nonetheless, crushing it is the follow-up to Crush It, which is the following. I believe all 1,500 people watching this know something about something more than most people because they're into that genre, they're into that niche, they're into that thing. And I think what you and I saw with Ohm and TechCrunch, because Michael and Ohm were passionate and they built big businesses around Web 2.0, what I did with wine, what a million people are doing, I think everybody can do now if they know how to use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, the Tumblr, I want to say not anymore, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, podcasting, blogging. And I wanted to inspire the framework. I highlighted 15 or so people that read Crush It and went from sleeping on a couch to a happy life financially and in their life's work. And then I go through the latest platforms like I did in Jab, 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 Right Hook and gave people best practices. And it's a very current book, and it'll be very valuable for the next 2 to 3 years. And then it'll be good philosophically and rah-rah, but the practicality of the platforms will change too much, and I'll have to update it with jab, 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 left hook. And that's where I'm at, brother. And so that's what it's about. I'm passionate. I think it can help people, and that's what I'm focused on.
Appreciate your time. Love you, man. Everyone, go buy the book. It's amazing. Take care, buddy.
Talk to you.
See ya. Bye.
See ya.